Oh my god, I'm pushing the buttons. Where's the buttons? It's the end of the song. Oh my god, push the button. What's up, everybody? What's going on? It is Monday. What's the date? 24. It's the 24th of January. You guys can't even see my hand over here. I'm moving stuff around over here with my left hand. Look at this. Oh my god. This guy's fancy. I'm a fancy guy. I'm a fancy guy, folks. Touching things off camera, you know, and then talking about it at the beginning of a show. I'm so well prepared for the beginning. I'm sitting all funny. I don't know what's going on. I was like getting ready to push the button, and then I forgot my coffee, so I had to run upstairs. And then I came back, and I'm just flustered. I'm just in a fluster, guys. But it is Monday, January 24rd, 2022 of the year of our Lord. How you all doing? How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're doing good. I feel like my voice is still a little bit weird. Like something's weird. I don't know. But one of the big issues we're having around here, cold weather. It got warmer. It got cold again. We got the furnace on. Everybody's sinuses are all dry around here. I've been experiencing that. I fell asleep with my mouth open the other night, and I thought I was sick again. And I don't know what happened. It's not a normal thing for me to be like mouth breathing while I'm asleep, but I was doing that apparently on Friday night. I was quite tired. I'll admit it. I was quite tired, and maybe that's why. I was a little bit exhausted, and then I don't know. I woke up the next day, and I felt like everything had completely dried out. I was gonna say exsanguinated, but that's not right. Dehydrated. All my insides felt dehydrated. I was all thirsty all day, and I thought I was whatever, you know. But then it just slowly went away throughout the day because I realized like I slept with my mouth open like a weirdo. But happy to say, lovely daughter is back home. Had a great weekend hanging out, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool with my baby daughter, who is 3 and is quite adept at, getting the rise out of people. That's the age she's at now. She's at the age of getting a rise out of people. You know what I'm saying? But we had a good time. We went to the beach. We explored the beach. It's freezing cold out there, guys. You know, you might think like, hey, let's go down to the beach. It's going to be rad. It will be rad, but it will also be cold. So we did some of that. We had a beautiful weekend of amazing NFL football, NFL playoff football. Oh, my God. All of the highlights I got to watch, all of the games that I got to have on in the background. Fan-freaking-tastic. Congratulations to pretty much every underdog except for the Buffalo Bills, who I was desperately rooting for last night. That was the one game I actually got to watch, was the Kansas City Football Chiefs versus the the Buffalo Football Bills. And I was rooting for the Bills. It's been a long time for that team to have some success. A lot of like blue collar style football players on that team. I got to admit, not a lot of crazy personalities and whatnot. So I was rooting for the Buffalo Bills, and they guess what? They lost. So you know how it goes. Vaccine denial weirdo Aaron Rodgers lost. He lost the football playoffs once again to the San Francisco 49ers. And I have to admit, I kind of had a laugh. I had to just laugh at that one. Pretty darn funny. Just hilariously funny. And then the Rams, they won. So 2 teams from where my team plays from are going to the NFC Championship. So 2 of the NFC West teams shall be in the NFC Championships. And the AFC will be the Chiefs versus the Bengals. I didn't watch the Bengals game. I'm going to be honest with you. Hey, all my fans out there from Cincinnati or Cincinnati Bengals fans, I'm sorry. I just don't follow that team. I can't keep up with it. They're just such a team that's so far out there. I'm like, I don't even know. Whatever. I guess Joe Burrow's like a big deal, I guess, in Cincinnati. But I don't know. I digress. This weekend upcoming should be pretty entertaining. I'm pretty excited for it. I know that a lot of the fish fam, air quote, fish fam, whoever you guys are, fish people or non-fish people, whoever you are, people that watch whatever this is I do, may or may not be NFL football fans. I'm a big fan of the game. I'm a big fan of the sport. I very much am entertained by it. So I got to just give a shout out to everybody for playing hard and having a good time. And at least they're all good friends, right? So this weekend should be good. And then the Super Bowl is almost always like just, I rarely honestly watch the Super Bowl. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I normally watch the fourth quarter. That's pretty much it. That game is so long and there's so many commercial breaks. I can't handle it. I honestly can't handle it. So we'll see. We'll see who makes it to the Super Bowl. Do I have any predictions? No. I mean, there's 4 really good teams left. One of them I honestly don't know anything about, but I guess they're probably just going to – my guess is they're probably going to get steamrolled by Kansas City. And the 49ers-Rams, I would say I think that the Rams are going to win. They're a fantastic team top to bottom. So, but maybe the 49ers pull it out. I don't know. But by the time you get to the Super Bowl, it's almost like, well, let's just find out what the end of the game's going to look like. It might be exciting at the end. It might not. Who knows? So that's all I kind of watch. Fish Tank Barn says, watching Stafford win just to put a huge exclamation point on how bad the Lions are and the fact I will never see the local team in the Super Bowl. Now, the Lions are terrible, Mike. The Fish Tank Barn, Mike, the Lions are terrible. They are currently terrible. We got to understand every team in the NFL will have a period of being terrible. The Seattle football Seahawks, my team that I follow, the entirety of my life, were a dumpster fire of awful, 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 awful. They were just so bad. And they brought Mike Holmgren in. And ever since Mike Holmgren was here, they've been competitive, barring some bad years like this year. But it's not, you can't just be self-defeating about an NFL team because there is internal changes that could happen, blah, blah, blah. Things progress, and things change, So I wouldn't be a Debbie Downer, but I would guarantee that the Detroit Lions at some point in time will have some up seasons. It will happen. And you know what? Maybe the trade of Stafford for, what's his name? Oh, God, what was that guy's name? Let's go Detroit Lions. What's their quarterback's name? I can't remember his name now. Jared Goff. Gosh, it was just a blank there. But I will say I did watch a couple of some of the late season Detroit games for whatever reason. I think they were on while Olivia was napping. And it was really looking like by the end of the year, they started getting some momentum. It looks like their new coach is pretty good. Was that Dan Campbell? Didn't he take over mid-season? I think he took over mid-season. Did he take over mid-season or has he been there the whole year? Yeah, I don't know. Shoot. I feel like he took over mid-season, or did he just start? On January 20th, 2021, the Detroit Lions named Dan Campbell franchise new head coach. Okay, so he was actually there for the whole season. I thought he was a mid-season guy, but to be honest with you, Detroit looked a lot better this year than in years past when I've watched them. So I think it's just an example. The Cleveland Browns, dumpster fire forever. right? But they are competitive now, you know? I mean, my expectation for a local football team, if I was to say to have an expectation, would be 8-8, right? Or I guess now there's 17 games in the season, so 9-8 or 8-9 or something like that. Like you want your team to be competitive and be in there. Understandably, it's super hard to get excited about a team that's like 3-14 or whatever. I get it, but if I was to go in with an expectation, it's like win half the games. That's the expectation. So I feel like to get in there and get in the mix is just what you could have an expectation for. But, obviously nobody is happy being 3-14, and I don't think they'll be there forever. But they're finally starting to make some changes, it seems to me, as far as like Detroit Lions football goes. But I digress. This isn't a football show. But as you guys know, I like to engage with you. So whatever you guys put into the chat, I'm generally going to either remark on or delete it or ignore it or whatever. So always remember to type into the chat if you guys are like, because I've gotten so many comments over the years that people are like, I come here to only hear about fish tank stuff, and I hate your face now. You pissed me off. I'm gone. Bye. And it's like, that's the first time I've ever heard from them. So if you are lurking in the chat and you're like, hey, I have a specific thing I want you to talk about, type it into the chat and I will read it. Up until we have, 5,000 live viewers and the chat goes by so fast that it's impossible to read, we'll be fine with that plan. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, if you guys want to talk about fish stuff, we'll talk about it. I'm starting out with the NFL because I watched a couple games this weekend, and I'm very excited about it. Groveside Aquariums gave a highlighted chat into the comment, or a comment into the chat, I guess. Yeah. For being a member for 36 months, dude. I appreciate that so much. 36 months helping support this channel is a wild accomplishment. I'm going to be honest with you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Says, hi, all. In these strange times, we're living here in Finland, too. In these strange times, we're living here in Finland, too. So nice to always hear from Joel about fish and life and stuff. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Like I said, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I know I've made a commitment to be continually doing the live shows. Because my schedule is just so busy at this point. I'm working on edited content, but it's just a real slog. I have a real slog of edited content right now, and not a lot of time to work on it. Although today I did get to work on some script stuff, which I'm kind of excited about. We'll see how this goes. I'll be able to record some stuff later today. I have some like insert pieces I need to shoot. We'll see if I can get them done in time before having to go pick up my daughter. But appreciate it. With your guys' support, we'll be able to continue to make content. Speaking on that, let's get our member numbers updated. We lost a YouTube channel member. I don't know who it was, and I don't like to point out people who go by the wayside. You guys know I don't like to shame people for leaving for whatever reason it is, unless it is like a really wild reason. Unless it's a really wild reason. Every once in a while, people give me a really wild reason to point out. Of late, it definitely has been, you talk about politics and I'm mad now. Okay, I'm talking about what's contextually going on from time to time, and some of that happens to be politics. Some of it happens to be vaccine stuff. Some of it happens to be whatever is going on, and I'm happy to give you guys my opinion. And it pisses off some people, and then they leave. So, whatever you're going to do, you got to do. I'm not going to tell somebody not to do whatever, except become a member and become a patron today, because it's a commercial. Good times. Anyhow, moving on. Misfits Reptiles and Aquatics says hello. Yeah. DJ Owen says, I would like to see the Super Bowl with the two underdogs playing. I think it would be hilarious to see the Super Bowl with 10-7 teams in it. Come on, Bengals and 49ers. I feel that sentiment. I feel that sentiment. I feel that sentiment. I really do. But I don't know. I don't know that I have that feel. I don't know that I have that feeling. I just don't think so. I just feel like whoever wins is going to end up in there, and it's, you know. But I can see where you're coming from, I guess. Yeah. I would like to see, personally, I would like to see the Rams play the Chiefs, because I think that would be a lot more exciting game. Because you have two really good quarterbacks, two crazy good defenses playing against two really good quarterbacks. I think that would be a much wilder game. I think that game would be wild. I feel like the 49ers playing the Bengals would be like the Bengals score 3 touchdowns and the Niners score like 3 field goals and a touchdown, and then the game is just over. Whereas I feel like the Rams playing the Chiefs would be constantly like, you never know if there's going to be an 85-yard touchdown pass at any point in time, or some kind of crazy Rams trick play. You know, it's like, are they punting? Are they punting, or are they kicking a field goal, or is it a trick play, or is it, you know, like, I'm just saying I would vibe better with the Chiefs versus the Rams at this point. Yeah, I think that's where I would be at, because that seems like it would be a much funner game. Plus, I think it would be good to see Matt Stafford get some success, so that next year when he gets sacked like 30 times by the Seahawks, it's just chef's kiss. I have to admit, I'm glad that Tom Brady didn't make the Super Bowl. I'm just sick and tired of that guy. I feel like he's actually been in the league for like 20 years or something, and it feels like 100 years. It feels like 100 years. How long has Tom Brady been playing football? Oh my God, he was drafted in the 2000 draft, so he's 22 years he's been in the NFL, and it's too much. It's just too much. Yeah, I'm over it. I'm just over it. Like, just retire. It's annoying. I just have to admit, it's just annoying. So, can we move on from that era, please? Can we please just move on from the Tom Brady era? It's annoying. I mean, probably because he's won so many times. That's why it's annoying. And it's just been so long. I mean, it's been a long time. So, I guess longevity isn't necessarily the only token, because, like, Star Wars has been around for 45 years or something like that, and I still like that. So, you know. Oh, wow. We got member posts from Wesley with a heart. Oh, I heart you too, Wesley, my man. And we got a member post from Aubrey. Says, does not seem like a year. It's been 12 months you've been supporting the channel, and it doesn't even feel like it. That's right. It's because we have so much fun on Discord and Minecrafting and all that good stuff. And all that good stuff. So it just basically doesn't even seem like a year, right? Yeah. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we got 40,000 people watching, and we don't have enough likes. I think I have to verbalize it. I think if I type the like button into the chat, you guys just kind of ignore it. So I think I have to verbalize, hit the like button, or we're all going to get diarrhea. That's the rule now. If we don't hit the like button, we're going to end up with diarrhea, and that's just the worst. We don't like that. Check out the recent record Rams versus 49ers. Yeah, I think the 49ers have beat the Rams. 49ers versus Rams, right? I think the 49ers have beat them a bunch of times, right? Hold on a minute here. History? Is that what we need? History. Do I know how to type? All time? It must be. Yeah, you must be right. Oh, here we go. Oh, we go all the way back to the 1950 season? Okay, so let's see. Yeah. You got to go back to 2018 when the Rams were beating the 49ers. Then it's 50-50. Yeah, last 3 years, the 49ers have beat the Rams every time. 31-10, 27-24. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I feel like the Rams are going to come out with some pretty serious enthusiasm, I would say, it being a playoff game. And they fumbled like 4 times. They fumbled like 4 times and almost lost to the Buccaneers, you know? So I imagine that they're going to come out with laser focus, I would imagine. I would imagine that they're going to come out pretty laser focused. Those fumbles were crazy. I just was finding it unbelievable. Like, interceptions, fumbles, oh my God. It was just wild. And, yeah. Fish Tank Barn says Tom Brady was at the University of Michigan the same time I was there. Fish Tank Barn graduated in 1998. Mike, you're showing your age. Don't show everyone your age in the chat. They'll know how old you are. Unless you went to college super early, like Doogie Howser. Oh, my God. You have to be my age to know who Doogie Howser is. So that's me showing my age. Oh, my God. Everybody knows I'm 41. Everybody knows that. I've said it so many times. Everybody knows that I'm over 40. We celebrated the 40th birthday. I went right over the hill, and everybody knows it's all downhill from here. So, you know, it just is what it is, baby. As Vicky says this, so we have to, okay, we got to pump the brakes here a little bit, and we got to take it with a grain of salt. Vicky says that I'm going to be a silver fox. That's what she says. But, you know, we also have a child together, so we can't really trust her opinion all that much. Whether that's accurate or not, I don't know, but that's what she says. As they say, that's what she said. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah. Suzanne Johnson says quarterbacks and politicians need term limits. I'm in disagreement with the term limits. I'm in disagreement with that. For a long time, when I was really young, I thought that term limits would be wildly important because of the nature of the presidency, right? I think that the presidency should have a term limit. But other than that, everyone else is democratically elected and should realistically get voted out if they aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know, if they aren't meeting with the will of the people, they should get voted out. And I don't think that there should be term limits on people like senators because, and here's my reasoning, okay? A lot of people are concerned about corruption in politics, and I am also concerned about corruption in politics, but just imagine this. Imagine that we put the senators on a 2-term limit, right? The first term, boy howdy, would they want to be trying to get reelected. But they'd only be wanting to try to get reelected for the second term, in which they would have a 6-year period to go completely corrupt because they could never get reelected, right? They'd be like, you can't be a senator anymore, so who cares? go crazy for 6 years. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like a lot of our senators and the House of Representatives and whatnot are already kind of crazy. Just imagine if Ted Cruz went full corrupt and couldn't get reelected and knew that he couldn't get reelected because of the law, right? That dude would straight up. Oh man, my mind can't even evaluate how crazy that guy would go off the rails, right? So I'm in opposition to the term limits ideas because of those reasonings. Is that like we would see all these people get reelected for their second term and then just go completely bonkers corrupt, you know? And with no like repercussion, because like we the people wouldn't have any ability to be like, well, we're gonna vote you out, and they'd be like, well, I'm already out, so who cares, right? They would just go bonkers. I forgot to turn on my background light. Should I turn it on? There. I turned on my background light. Does it look cooler now? Does the stream look cooler? I got blue and blue. I got blue light with the blue shirt. Forgot to turn on my background light. I got all flustered trying to get my coffee earlier today, and dude, yeah. Kelly Foreman says there's no female equivalent for silver fox. Cougar? Yeah. Cougar? Yeah. Oh, yeah. MILFs? Yeah. Right? Like, I mean, obviously MILF is kind of crass, but cougar? And then grandmas is like mountain lions, right? Isn't that mountain lions or something like that? I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's obviously like an insane standard that the different sexes are held to. Like realistically, like let's be honest here. All the sexes are held to this insane standard that makes no sense. You know, a good example would be like has often been brought up to me is like magazine covers or like Sports Illustrated, like swimsuit models or whatever that weird nonsense is. Those people are photoshopped, and it's insane. Like it's their job, and it's what they do all the time, and they get paid a lot of money to do it. And you know, but also at the same time, like, how could I compete with Ryan Reynolds, right? Like, all the guy does is like lift weights and tan and eat good food and like take care of himself and be ripped and makes millions and millions and millions of dollars and then buys a gin company and makes millions of dollars. You know, it's just like, I don't know. You know, I think everybody's held to these like weird standards, you know, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense realistically when you get down to it. Rogers Aquarium says MILF does a body good. Yes, of course. After 50, I just don't even know anymore. Yeah, I think there's like this weird age that people reach where you sort of spend like a decade just sort of not like just I think I don't know, and I might be completely wrong on this, but because I haven't reached that age yet, but I feel like there's this weird period of time, like maybe a decade or something like that, where people sort of just drop off the map socially engaging, I guess, in a way. Does that make sense? I think people's kind of sex lives or whatever sort of just disappear for like a decade or whatever, and then I think they get over that 60 mark or whatever and then just say F it again and go back to acting like teenagers. That seems to be what's happening in this day and age. I don't know. Considering all of the STDs traveling around the old folks' homes these days, it must be the case. There's something going on there. I don't know. Mountain lions? Is that a thing? Yeah, of course, dude. Of course. Of course that's a thing. New Local Austin is here. We can start the show finally. As you guys know, New Local Austin became a patron the other day, which is a standout in 2022. Probably only 2 people have become patrons this year. You know, Patreon is just not getting the respect that it once did. You know, it just really isn't. Let me see. Let me see who's our new patrons this year. Is there a button here? Oh, there's the button over here. You know, sometimes you're just looking at the wrong side of the screen going, where's that button? Actually, Randall Bowman and Roseanne Curry. Oh, my God. Those are our 2022s. Some other people deleted. Some people just deleted. They were like, screw it. I'm out of here. I don't want to support this anymore. But Randall Bowman upped from $1 a month to $5 a month. Thank you very much. New local Austin. And Roseanne Curry. Those are our new people of the year, 2022. We only have 3. Can you believe that? We're like 24 days in. You know? And it just is what it is, bros. So, yeah, it's all good. 2022 will be the year that Mark Cuban, wherever you're at, sponsor the show, bro. Where you at, dude? I want to build a fish tank in your big-ass mansion house that you may or may not own that I don't know exists or not. You know? Let's do it. Gross. Old people banging. Not looking forward to that. Why not? Who cares? Have a good time. You're going to be old, hopefully. I hope you end up being old. When I was a young man, a lot of people used to say, live fast, die young. You know, that whole thing? You're like, yeah, live fast and leave a good-looking corpse and blah, 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 and all that kind of crap. Like, let me tell you something. When you get up to being 40, you're like, oh, wait, I should eat some vegetables and jog because I want to keep doing this stuff for a long time. That's my experience, right? You know? Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Saw a picture of Sharon of leg crossing fame, Sharon Stone, and she looks way hotter than 99% of youngsters I see. Let's see. I think the last time I saw an interview with Sharon Stone, I was like, wow, she looks great. I wonder how old she is. Sharon Stone is 63 years old. Yep. Yeah, there you go. Perfect example of, like, I know that she started out super hot. Like, we get it. But she's just aging really well. Probably because she, like, eats her vegetables and goes jogging. It's probably, yeah. You know, it's like, yeah. It's all good. Sharon Stone. It's good. I think I'll give it a good. I'll give it a thumbs up. Do we want to talk about Driftwood? Yeah, why not, man? Let's talk about Driftwood. But you can't ask the question, do we want to talk about Driftwood? You just got to ask a question about Driftwood. That's how that works. Got a 40-gallon and new goldfish on the way. Sunwise, what's up? That sounds good, dude. That sounds good. I'm so excited. I have to admit, I'm very excited about moving to a new property because I'll be able to do things like build goldfish ponds and stuff. Can't do that here. Not because they it's not like they say I can't do it. It's that we just started to run out of space. It's realistically a big part of our issue right now. As I mentioned last week, Vicky was up looking at a property which seemed very, very interesting. And it was only about 1.5 acres, which realistically is probably going to be enough for at least the next decade for us. I can do a lot with 1.5 acres. That's a lot of space. So it would probably be fine. Although the house was a little bit small, the shop was like probably had a shop building on it, which was about like I think it listed at 1,200 square feet, but I think it might have been a little bit smaller than that. Everything looked good. The only downside is that they were listing it fairly expensive, and our what do you call him? Our real estate agent was like, dude, I don't know if we're going to be able to appraise at this price. Was going to be like one of those issues that I think that those people that put that house onto the market, are hoping to get a cash offer from somebody who's just super flush and willing to pay a lot of extra. So kind of a bummer, but you can't just come in and be like, hey, I want to offer you 85 grand under your asking price and even have people entertain it, but that was kind of the deal, is that there's just really no way to make up that gap on that property because it was just going to be too expensive. But dude, I'm so excited to do stuff like goldfish ponds and things like that. I can't even tell you. And the one property that we found that was perfect, it already had a bunch of hydroponics built on it with the greenhouses and everything. I was like, oh my God, I won't even have to build greenhouses. I'll just have to improve the existing ones and improve the hydroponics that are already there. It was an hour and a half drive to get to work. So it was out of the area. If I owned an airplane or a helicopter or something, it would have been fine. But you have to drive up and all the way around to get back to the mainland for work. To give you an idea, it was out in Oak Harbor, Washington. And if you're in Oak Harbor, you're actually not that far from the Washington state itself, but you have to drive all the way up north, across some bridges, up through some hills, across another bridge, then like 30 miles to the freeway, and then get on the freeway and then drive around. So that wasn't going to do it. It was not going to work because that's just such a long drive every day. Plus, with that bridge, the bridge is at Deception Pass State Park. So if you guys are out there wherever in the world and you want to look it up, you could look up Deception Pass State Park and realize that like there's a big old bridge that goes over some water. It's very schwancy. It's very pretty. It's very beautimous. But when you're commuting and you have to go across that thing, good luck, dude. You're going to be pissed. You're going to be pissed when there's people standing out on the bridge taking pictures of the sunrise or the sunset or whatever, and you're just trying to get to and from your house. Yeah. You know how it is. We haven't needed... What? I haven't needed curious about using alder as a different style wood decor as it likes that riparian life. Riparium life? Curious about using alder as a different style wood decor. The immediate thing that pops off in my head is that alder is it's not very dense. Let me see here. I think off the top of my head, like alder wood is not very, very dense wood, which is most likely going to be your biggest problem. Yeah, it's one of the softest hardwoods around. Depending on the type. There are actually like multiple different types. Yeah, I think that's going to be your biggest issue, is like dealing with the fact that alder wood will decay pretty rapidly, because I think it's technically a hardwood or something like that, but it's going to decay pretty quick, especially if you just got like branches and stuff. That'd be the downside. But, as been highlighted over the years by some pretty good aquascapers out there, as long as you're really willing to put things in and rescape your tank and take things out and clean it back up and do all that stuff all the time, it shouldn't be shouldn't be like that big of a deal if you're willing to like continually mess around with it, I guess. But if you're thinking about a set it and forget it type of wood, I don't think it's going to be classified as that. Terry's Tropical Tanks says, whatever happened to that table you made for the Real Fish Talk? That thing was nice. It honestly isn't the nicest table ever, by the way. If you see it in person, you'll realize that like the epoxy pour I did on it was like the first time using that product, and I wasn't really that versed in it. And realistically, it should have been sanded more, but Corey said it was fine. He didn't care. Um, but it is in the break room at the store now, I believe. Yes, it's in the break room at the store, I think is where it is now. One of the big issues with that table is that I made it out of these cedar planks that had a tendency to do a lot of cupping and moving around a little bit and stuff like that. Like I said, all the issues could have been solved with me sanding it and then repolishing the epoxy on it. But it is a fairly nice table, but it's not like a showroom quality table at this point. Twiggy branches instead of big chunks. Fingers crossed, less decay as it likes water in general. Got driftwood. It smells and is leaching a lot of tannin from local lake live oak. I normally don't add live wood as driftwood. I normally have stuff that's like either naturally been dried or been kiln dried. That's pretty much all I ever use. I don't ever use live stuff unless I'm growing like little trees coming up out of the water. I don't have a tendency to use anything that is was live at all. I wouldn't even have picked it up to bring it home. So yeah, I mean, the reality is like I like stuff that's completely dried out because it's most anything that could be in or on or around the wood or whatever is pretty much been dried out of it. It's like I guess basically the difference is beef or beef jerky, right? So if you made like unsalted beef jerky, well, I guess you do need to salt it as part of the process of eliminating the water, but you understand what I'm saying. If you just dried out a piece of beef in the dehydrator long enough for it to be like jerky texture, you know what I mean? Like if it just had no water in it or whatever, you could put that in your backpack and just leave it in there for months and months and months, right? But if you had a piece of beef, you could leave it in there for a couple of days and probably still cook it up, or you could even dry age that chunk of beef. But you understand like the volatility that I want to avoid the volatility of an item that I'm putting into a fish tank, mainly because of the water is the big reason. You know, oftentimes people think that like to consider water to be not a chemical, but it is a chemical compound and is always interacting with everything that it's touching. Same as air. You know, it's always interacting with whatever it's touching. You know, so I try to keep everything that I'm putting in there to have been dried out and not be a live piece of wood at all. As I've mentioned before, Manzanita Burl Works is my favorite place to go just order driftwood. You can get big giant burls, you can get little twiggy sticks, you can get long sticks, short sticks, whatever. But people are always having a problem because you have if you're not going to Manzanita Burl Works, you go to their online site, there's a phone number and you got to call the guy. Yes, you can look around on their website for what it is that you're going to order. Yes. But he wants you to call and make the payment, and he'll make sure that everything that you're looking for is going to get shipped to you. So people hate that nowadays, and people have hated it forever. But 100% I recommend Manzanita Burl Works. It's the most affordable place to get a bunch of driftwood if you're going to do a bunch of tanks. Otherwise, I think Aquarium Co-op, aquariumcoop.com. Let's see their, do they have driftwood anymore? I can't remember. I know that, I know I've unloaded like so much driftwood over the years. But I'm not sure if I'm not sure if I can recall, there being wood anymore. They might not be carrying it anymore. Wood? Let me see. Wood. Yeah, they might not be carrying driftwood anymore. I don't think so. Probably because shipping. Shipping would probably be the issue, I would guess. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's wood on there anymore, so I don't know why that's the case. You guys will have to message the care team at the co-op if you are wondering. I wonder if there's a frequently asked questions. Wood. How to use an egg tumbler best? I don't see it. I don't see it in the frequently asked questions. I don't know. I could always bug Corey, but I almost guarantee you it's a shipping problem. You know. Oh, somebody's verified. Will says no wood or rocks from the coop. They don't carry decor on their page anymore. Yeah, I think it must be a shipping thing because I know that like the last time I had a meeting with Corey, he was like, they've got 3 shipping containers that have just been on a boat, on different boats, just floating around out there, and they don't know when they'll even get them off the boat. So, kind of crazy. Crazy stuff. Supply chain management is has become a disaster, I think, realistically. Does Manzanita wood break down faster or slower than Malaysian wood in an aquarium? It's sort of situational, realistically. I find that it has more to do with the size, right? Because I've had like a lot of little tiny Manzanita stuff only last what seems like 5 minutes, but it realistically is probably like 6 months or something like that. That'll kind of air quote break down quick, but then it's really tiny little twigs, right? It's little tiny twigs and stuff like that. So if it's a sizable piece of Manzanita and Malaysian wood, they both last pretty long. But realistically, like if you're only purchasing because something's going to last a certain amount of time, I would seriously look into finding or making the pieces that you really like, and then going through the clear coating process. There is a process that you can you can do 2-part mixtures to seal up a piece of wood, but you're definitely going to lose a lot of the benefit, and it's also not going to be waterlogged. So be aware, you can seal up wood and stuff like that, but it's going to float like a boat. You know what I'm saying? So you do have to consider weighing things down and attaching them to stuff if you're going to go that route. I have personally never, as challenging as it is to spend money on stuff that you're going to put into a tank, you know it's going to break down, you know it's going to get discolored, you know it's going to do all that stuff. I think it's just a matter of going like, I'm going to put $10 in the account, or $20 in the account, $20 here, $20 there, until I got like $100 and I can order a big box. Last time I ordered from Manzanita Burlworks, I ordered 3 like $100 boxes, which was like more wood than I could use in a couple of years, realistically, at the volume that I was rescaping and stuff. So I kind of tell people to go there. Obviously, it's an American company, so you can only get stuff in America. But if you're in the States, that's where I recommend to go. The unfortunate thing is, like, if you're in the EU, the European Union, if you're in Europe or something, I don't really know. I don't really have great advice on, like, go shop over here or go shop over there. I don't know what's going on in the EU. Every time I'm there, I'm, like, looking around. I'm like, whoa, this place is crazy. You guys are weird. What are you, European or something? And it turns out they actually are, and it's a whole different country. You know, that's kind of thing. It's a little bit interesting. I think there's an issue with supply. Joe Shrimp said the price was going up this year. Yeah, I don't really know. I can't give you a good explanation as to why they're not carrying it anymore. I know we were bringing in by the boatload, for quite a while there, but you never know. Mary Page Flynn has a good point. We need a few more likes. I guess we got to hit the like button, even though I hate it. We're sort of beholden to like buttons and stuff. But realistically, as I've highlighted before, become a member or become a patron, and we just will generally not have to care about like buttons anymore. And to those of you that want edited content, if you want me to go full-time, making you guys edited content, the amount of members and patrons, once that totals 1,000, I will make my decision to go full time. That's where I've set the bar. I've set the bar there because I know what it's like to have 300 patrons, and I know what it's like to have no members, and I know what it's like in this area, and I'm sort of I'm in the zone of going like it's the 1,000 fan rule, and that's why that book exists. And you know, what is it? The rule of 1,000 fans. I can't remember the name of the book. I always forget this book. Did it literally just give me? Oh my god, the stupid Amazon thing. Sometimes it's like a great search engine, and sometimes it is terrible. It's called 1,000 True Fans. There we go. We'll look that up. Django Longhurst. By Django Longhurst. Some people have a wild name. Some people just have a wild name. Oh my god, do they not have it in audiobook? Oh, poop. They only have it on, I wonder, let me see here. Let me check something here. Copy. Control paste. Oh my god. They only have it on as a Kindle? Well, I don't know. I guess if you guys are going to buy something on a Kindle or whatever, I guess.
We are sponsored by Amazon, but only if you guys buy stuff through our Amazon links. So there's an Amazon link. There's an Amazon link right there that you can click on, and if you go buy stuff from Amazon, then we're sponsored by them. But Jeff Bezos is a monster, so you know how it is. Jeff Bezos sucks. We don't like Jeff Bezos. We like Mark Cuban.
If we're picking favorite billionaires around here, my current favorite billionaire is 100% Mark Cuban. He seems like an actual human as compared to the rest of them. Even though he looks really weird. I have to admit, he does look weird. His teeth kind of freak me out, but could just be genetics. I don't know if it's genetic modification. I don't know. I don't know if it's body modification. He might have done some body modification, and then, still, weird choices were made. That's all I got to say about that. But not body shaming anybody. He's kind of an older guy. How old is Mark Cuban? Mark Cuban age. How old are you? He's 63. He's the same age as Sharon Stone. And I got to admit, just so everybody watching the show today, I would much rather hang out with Sharon Stone, considering they're both 63 years old. And we were talking about Sharon Stone earlier. I would opt to hang out with Sharon Stone. That's all I'm saying. So stupid. So stupid. Jason, any luck with house hunting? Not really. The market is so slim right now. But we did talk about that earlier. As I mentioned, Vicky went to go kind of look at a place, but it met a lot. It met a lot of what we want, what we're looking for. But the issue was their asking price versus what would actually get appraised for seemed off. Wesley's Fish Club says going to make 1,000 Patreon accounts, each donating $1. All right. Well, hey man, if you want to donate $1,000 via one account over and over again, I don't know how to. If you want to make 1,000 accounts, that seems like a monumental amount of work. Or you could just like promote the channel a little bit, and maybe we would get closer to 1,000 subscribers, or not subscribers, but like members and patrons. Maybe, I don't know. That seems like less work, promoting the channel a little bit, as opposed to making 1,000 accounts. And then like tying in your payment and all that would be a lot. It sounds like a lot of work. Dave's Aquarium says, I'm betting it's supply side, not shipping. The priority of a container of wood at the outgoing ports in China will be very low compared to a container of car parts or microchips or other things. Well, that's not the issue. There's so many issues in the supply chain that are just broken right now. And like one of them would be there are no shipping containers in China. Basically, like, here's a good example. And this is no slight on Trinidad and Tobago. So just so you understand. But here's a good example of what happened. So when the pandemic hit, places like the United States donated a lot of aid to other countries. Not just the United States, but a lot of countries donated aid to a lot of other countries, where they would take like 100 shipping containers or 200 shipping containers, send them to Trinidad and Tobago with stuff to help with COVID, with like gowns and PPE and just all this crap. Send it there, and then they don't export. So a lot of the shipping there was a shortage of shipping containers, you know, and so there's just nothing you could do, because even though you would call over to the manufacturer and they'd be like, well, we've got all this stuff manufactured, they had nothing to put it in to ship it over. Then all the boats were getting here full of containers, and then there wasn't enough people to offload the containers. It's crazy. The on-demand supply chain is just such a bad idea that hopefully, you know, I have nothing to do with it, but hopefully people that do have something to do with it are making better decisions, but it seems doubtful that they would be. Joseph Stanley, hey. But the house hunting thing, you know, it's a crazy market right now. There's not a lot of inventory, I guess is the way to put it. There's not a lot of houses coming up, and when they do, there's a lot of competition. People are buying stuff, you know, with cash, which is kooky. You know, it's weird to be like, oh yeah, we got our pre-approval, we got our financing, that's all done, it's underwritten, blah blah blah, and then somebody's like, I've got $500,000 cash. I'll give it to you. Let me have your house. You know, and you're like, if you got that much money saved up, why aren't you building a house? That's my question. If somebody has, like, look, if any of you guys out there have $600,000 cash, build a new house, okay? Dear God, please build a new house. You have the money to build a new house. Increase the inventory. You know, increase the inventory. Don't come in and buy houses with cash. It's bonkers. It's just a crazy. It's crazy and stupid. Don't do that. Build a new house. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I'm all shiny today. Why am I all shiny? I feel like I'm reflecting light. I feel like I'm all shiny. Do I need some powder? I don't even know. I don't have a makeup person to do powder. Can somebody powder me? I'm all shiny. I'm all shiny as hell over here, guys. We're gonna need some powder so I'm not so shiny. Babe, I'm shiny. Did you guys hear Vicky? She heard me. Hey, I'm too shiny. I need some powder. I know we're good. We're live right now. I don't know what you're talking about. Come down here if you want to talk. I'll turn on your microphone. I'm not turning on your camera, though, because that's way too much to configure.
Yeah, no.
You can talk into that microphone, but you don't be, like, crazy loud. Don't be screaming. Every time I come down, you start screaming.
Do I?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh. Yeah, no. Nobody needs to see me today. Mm-mm.
You're so pretty, though.
Ugh.
I was telling him earlier how you said I'm going to be a silver fox.
Well, you're...
And I said it's just like, we can't even take your opinion because you're so... Like, what's the word?
I'm so...
You're not impartial. You're partial.
Well, yeah, man.
Like we have a baby and everything. I'm like, come on, we can't trust your opinion. It's so deeply swayed by influences. I'm influential, is what I'm saying. I'm an influencer, okay, guys?
Well, as it should be.
Yeah.
As it should be. I should be biased.
You're biased.
If
yeah.
I'm not biased, then what kind of partner am I?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know what kind of
Yeah.
partner are you. What kind of partner are you? A good one, as far as I know. Committed?
Committed.
Should you be?
Dedicated.
Should you be committed? I got jokes.
Oh, he's got
I got jokes, bros.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, Vicky, she came down here. She doesn't have any powder. Man, I'm all
No.
shiny. Look at me. I'm all shiny today.
I mean, there's like that cornstarch talc. Well, it's not talc powder. That's the whole idea, is that it's not talc
You wanna-
powder. It's cornstarch powder.
You want to throw on some cornstarch?
That's what they say.
I'll be like I'll be looking like a ghost.
Well, if you put on talc powder, that'll cause cancer. So.
Oh, don't talc, bro.
Yeah, don't talc.
Don't talc. Let's not talc it up. We don't have any patrons today or any new members. It's depressing. It feels like a Monday. Feels like a real Monday around
Well, it
here.
is kind of a Monday. I mean, is anybody really operating on?
Oh, I just
full?
got charged for our Discord server. So
Oh,
payment successful.
I mean, my usual rule of thumb for Mondays are that there is never enough caffeine or middle fingers for Mondays.
Really?
Yeah, it's true.
You're like not talking. I turned your microphone on, and you're literally like not talking into the microphone.
Oh. How's that? Did nobody hear me when I said that?
Yeah, that's pretty hot in the mic. You need a balance between the two. Well, there's a chair there. You could sit in the chair.
There is stuff in the chair.
It's stuff.
There is a plethora of stuff.
There's a keyboard. Well, whatever. Yeah, it's been one
That's not-
heck of a Monday. It is.
Well, yeah, we'll just chalk it up to that.
Yeah. Alex Kumanoff says, in 2010, I was being chased out of San Francisco cottage because landlord owed Irish contractor's son-in-law big money. Man, I started to read that comment, and I don't know what is going on there. You got chased out of San Francisco cottage because landlord owed Irish contractor's son-in-law big money. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I honestly have to say, like, I feel like there's a lot of elements to that to that comment that like are creating a wild story in my head, and I don't even know what to say.
I'm envisioning scenes from Boondock Saints. Is that
Michael Bublé says Joel's going to single-handedly slow down climate change because of how shiny he's reflecting all of those sun rays back out into space.
solar power?
Solar power. Dave is requesting, could we have that quote from Vicky on a sticker? We could. I stopped making... the merch page is up. I stopped promoting the merch because they don't ever pay out. For whatever reason, we're like, hey, yeah,
Broken.
let's activate the payout. And then it's like, cool, we're activating a payout. And then it just never does. So they stopped paying. So I guess maybe I got to find a new merch page because those guys didn't pay out like,
Or create one.
I don't know, it's like $400. And they were just like, nah.
Well, I think we had an issue with the email that was set up originally was my email, and then we tried to transfer it to you because the email for the payout through PayPal is not the same as what's on the account, I think is the issue.
Right, which shouldn't matter because they've paid out before.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know what's wrong with this company. They're just a mess. So we're going to have to move over to some other... But really, like,
I mean,
who
that's not
cares? Does
terrible.
anybody really want my merch? I mean, nobody wants my merch. But maybe I'll make a new account and start making stickers that say, Mondays, there's not enough caffeine or middle fingers. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Well, and to be fair, that's not... I didn't coin that phrase.
Oh.
I just picked it up somewhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Zipgun says, sounds like a mob thing. It does sound like a mob thing, I think.
All right. I have performance reviews to do.
Would you get back to work, please?
Yeah, man.
God, every time.
Break time's over.
Yeah, break time's over. Get out of here. Get out of here. I got to get back to work, okay? I'm doing a show right now. All right. Alex Kumanoff says Kelly Foreman I like to say Kelly Froman. It's so much more fun. Kelly Foreman, your comments about LRB's house sale were totally cogent. I don't know what is going on. I personally don't know what's happening with the Lucas Brett's house sale. I don't know what's going on. It sounded like he's overvaluing the property or the business or whatever is going on. I think I don't know if we discussed it during the live show. Like, I wish him all the best. I hope it works out. I hope it works out and everything's good and the sale works out for them. Like I said, I have no real input, but my my take on what I heard secondhand, I don't even know anything firsthand. Maybe third hand. I got it maybe third hand. Was like a real overvaluation of the property and the business. So I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully it works out real good and somebody with just bucket loads of cash comes in and buys the place or something. But yeah, I do know from selling houses and prepping houses for sale and stuff, but that you really got to prep it so that it's ready for sale. Everything is all buttoned up, ready to go, or the outcomes are not good. Because the appraisal process, the banks that are involved, everybody that's involved, the protections for the buyers, the protections for the sellers, there's a lot that goes into it. And if the house is completely full of things like fish tanks that nobody knows anything about, then the appraisal company is not going to appraise that as a value. They're going to appraise that as a negative. Yeah. You sounded great before. Don't let him bother you. We heard you, but it was quiet. Yeah, she was just too far from the mic. And if I turn the gain up on Vicky's mic any higher, you guys would hear me, and then it would get all crazy. So she just needed to get closer to the microphone. She was like standing away from it. But I didn't turn on her camera, so you guys couldn't see that. So you didn't have a visual, you know. That was a total Dr. Girlfriend voice. Yes. Because you buy the house, then rent it for the mortgage rate plus rent and make passive income. Okay. So if people that are going to be buying a house with cash, let me break this down for you. Let's keep the numbers super simple. Let's say you come in and you buy a house for $300,000 and the land, cash. Let's say you buy that all cash, right? Now, all of that money is locked up into that investment unless you do something like a cash out refinance, which you can do, but that's also going to lock 30% of that money into that property, right? And then now you're going to have a mortgage. The mortgage is probably going to be between 3.8% and 5%, depending on who is involved in the deal there. You're going to have $90,000 stuck in that mortgage. Then you'd be able to take out $210,000, right? Let's say it's $300,000 and it's a wash, and you do a cash out refi. Plus, you got to pay for the cash out refi, so that's about $10,000. Because it's about $5,000 on either end, and all this blah blah blah, closing and paperwork and lawyer, blah 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 blah. But the cash out refi, now you're paying $210,000 over 30 years on whatever the amount of the loan is, compounded, which will turn into likely so $210,000. Let's do the math real quick. I think it would be about $350 or $375 by the end of that. But if you have liquid like that $300,000, you could actually just put down 5% finance on the $300,000 loan, and then take the $285,000 that you would have had left minus the closing costs. So let's say about $270,000 with all the move in and all that kind of crud, and invest that and potentially be making back A, dividends, B, investment, what do you call it? Profit on investment, and also maintain liquidity that would be better than what you would take back out from a cash refi and all that. All right. You know, it's kind of weird to think about in terms, but the reality is, like, if you have that much liquid cash, you can invest it in something versus people buying these properties for a crazy amount of money and then turning around and doing a cash out refi on the back end. It's all bonkers for the reality of the situation, when you'd want to keep that liquidity and invest it somewhere that's probably earning 10%. I think like what was last year's last year stock exchange. Let's get a percentage on last year's stock market increase. 21.4% for the NASDAQ, and then the Dow Jones did 18.7. So if you think about it, if you just invested directly into the Dow Jones, just sort of broad, you could have done 18% last year. The NASDAQ did 21% last year. The S&P did 27%. You know, so if you were pretty well invested in just kind of broadly sort of blue chip stuff, you could have been making close to $50,000 in just last year in your investments if you took that $300,000 and invested it. And then you could take that and put it on the principal for the house year after year with that large investment money, and then pay off that house, right? If that's what you wanted to do. But the payment would probably be so low on a 4% loan, like, you know, there's really no point there. And then if you think about it in terms of, if I buy that house cash and then I rent it out, you're probably making at most, in the best market, $2,500 a month in rent money, right? So you make that $2,500 a month in rent money versus the investment that you could have made investing the money, right? Is, let's see, 25,000, 27,000 at best, but that's all income. So you'd be taxed on it as income. So yeah, it's all wacky, you know, that you'd be doing it that way. It's just not a good idea. Told son, if trucked my V large module GH up to Petrolia, he had sold his semi, so couldn't. Let my sister in Centennial, Colorado administer will, called her up. She decided that 50% was better than 25%. Told her I need $100K. I don't know what is going on there, Alex. I am so confused by your comments, Alex. I'm not sure what's going on. The S&P did me very well since the pandemic crash. Yeah, Terry, that's a good point. There's a lot of investment opportunities, especially with just how bullish the market has been. I personally am not really invested in that stuff realistically. Like, I have some small minor investments, like nothing, no big deal. Nothing's a big deal at all. But, you know, as far as like building our portfolio or whatever you want to call it, like, it's just, we're just kind of doing the best we can as a couple to continue moving forward. Like, I invest a lot into, you know, my video production stuff. Pretty much everything last year that we made via the channel was invested in improvements and projects ongoing for the for my business here. So I'm continuing to do that, and projects are continuing on. One of the downsides is that like I think a lot of people look at the metric of like a YouTube channel as going like, well, is it growing? Is it doing this? Is it are you putting out videos that bring in lots of subscribers or whatever? And admittedly, I will 100% admit to this that there was a point in time where I was thinking in that manner, realistically, because that's how everybody else thinks. If you ever have a conversation with another YouTuber, they'll be like, "Well, how many subscribers did you get this month? Oh, how many views did you get? How much AdSense did you make? Oh, right?" And I, after a year of the pandemic and stuff, I realized that like living that lifestyle is not beneficial for like mental health and whatnot. I could put out a video every single day. I realistically could. But I realized that like those projects that are in that vein just lead to this like really weird method of like interfacing with the world, right? And it's just not good. It's just not a good way to interface with the world, and I don't think it's healthy. And it was deteriorating my ability to spend time with my daughter, which is going to be a lifelong would be a lifelong piece of negativity. So I've been working on these real long format projects. I've been working on some other YouTube projects and things like that have been going fairly well, I think, and it's definitely I'm definitely seeing the benefits of it. I was sort of, and here's what's really sad, like I was sort of counting on this new camera that came out, and I posted about it on the community page, that I was kind of waiting to make a decision on what I was doing moving forward because of this new camera that was coming out, that I was like, oh my God, it's going to streamline a lot of workflow stuff. It's going to be able to do a lot of the things that I want a camera to do. And the unfortunate thing is it's like $44.99. So it's like $4,500, and then you put 10% sales tax on there. So it's $5,000. And shipping and handling and blah, blah, blah. But it's just too much money. It's just too much money. So I'm just going to continue focusing on the projects that I have ability to work on right now. And they're going pretty well. Like, one of the things I wanted to talk about the community is like, what are your expectations on videos from Peru? Because which is kind of, I don't know how to put it. I don't know exactly how to put it, but like, I was trying to figure out like what exactly the content of the Peru videos were supposed to be, because I was waiting for Aquarium co-op videos to come out, which did quite a while ago. My initial interpretation of what I was going to put out was just so not good, because it was going to be basically an emulation of those other videos. Like, oh, well, we were catching fish over here, and we were trying to catch pufferfish and blah, blah, blah. And we kept trying to catch pufferfish and this and that. And so then I was like, well, obviously I want to highlight some of the societal differences from Peru to the States. And then I realized, like, that's almost every piece of content that you will see from a travel vlog or whatever. Like, oh, wow, these Peruvians eat different food. Like, yeah, no doubt. Like, obviously they eat different food. They're, 8,000 miles away from where you live, or however far it is. I don't know. I have to look it up. But then I just realized like how lame that content is, and just how much of a waste of 10 minutes of time out of somebody's day to like watch that Peruvians eat different food than Americans. Like, everybody knows that. Who is that? Who is that helping? Right. it so then from there I'm like trying to figure out some of the stuff to put in there because I have a bunch of content of us like catching fish and things like that. But then I don't have any footage of the other side of the coin, like catching fish in the States. Like I just really don't have any footage of doing that because it's so rare that I ever actually go fishing anymore that it's like I don't have any video of us going fishing. So then it's like, well, maybe I should go on a short fishing trip. And then of course it's like, well, this pandemic got half of everybody shut down, and then it's a nightmare, and then we catch a cold, and then somebody else catches a cold, and then my daughter catches COVID, and then the daycare's closed again, and blah 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 blah, blah, right? So so then I'm like, well, maybe I should get some footage of some other people fishing, but then like I'm not in it. So it's kind of weird for me to be like, well, here's images of people fishing. And then you realize like, well, if you do some essay style video content, that's almost always clips of people not doing stuff. But then why do I include the clips of myself in Peru if these other ones don't have me, you know? And it just becomes this really like kind of convoluted process of trying to figure out exactly what to make out of it. And also, admittedly, the first time you go to a country, you spend a lot of time just being like, whoa, what's that? Whoa, what's that? What's going on here? Like, and just navigating all the ins and outs of everything that's going on. And just kind of beginning to learn about the area. That it's hard to really like have an opinion on anything other than like, hey, these guys eat different food than we do, you know? Have you guys tried the food that they eat? Because it's different than the food that we're eating up there, you know? It's really easy to have that kind of lame content. I mean, really, I still don't know exactly how. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. I do know how he does it, but like Casey Neistat would make a video that was interesting of him like riding a skateboard to go to the store to get a sandwich, you know, and you're just like, what? Yeah. And I don't know how to personally film that from my end as a guy who's like making videos or whatever. Like I still don't know how I do that. Like I know how he does that, but I don't know how I do that. Man, we need to hook up with the Nanfa bros. I don't know what that is. Nanfa? North American Native Fishes Association. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I would yeah, why not? Do they do anything around here? Probably not. We'll probably have to go far to go meet up with them. Oh my god, it was founded in 1972. I should know. Oh my god, their website looks like it was designed by somebody in 1998. Oh my god, their website's the worst. Click here to pay for membership or make a donation online using PayPal. We got to be members, apparently. You know what I mean? So, yeah. We got to be members apparently to be the North American Native Fishes Association. Where are they located? It just you could join, you could do whatever. Their website is the worst. This is the worst website in a long time. Like they literally have like a brown font over a yellow background. Like why would you bother to put this yellow color? Okay, I don't know. Like, hey, let's make it, and then like let's make it all set. Okay, it's set to tiny. I don't know. This is the worst website I've been to in a long time. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know where they're located. Did their contact? Is there a contact? Oh, their contact button doesn't even work. Okay, it's just a hyperlink that goes nowhere. Word. Yeah, Vermont, Georgia, North Carolina. I don't know where these guys are. Alyssa, you've sidebarred the show with the North American Native Fishes Association's terrible website. All right. Lawrence Kent is a Nanfa guy and does a lot of collecting. He's also local. Yeah, Lawrence. I think Lawrence is local, isn't he? I think so. Or maybe he's in like Oregon or something like that. Long story okay. Alex has got a lot to say here. Let's read it out. In Richmond, right across from Berkeley City line, she said she couldn't handle house. I had been there since 1985 and did major improvements. GH was old growth redwood. Long story short, it's way worse in the city than Seattle. Current plan is to be a river rat in Comal County, Texas. I'm getting an F-150 and think she'll commute down there and help renovate shack. Alex, I have no idea what's going on. You posted a whole bunch of stuff. You posted a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know what's going on. I'm totally confused. Maybe send me an email and I can figure out what it is that's going on. Yeah. Michael Bublo says, I would love a video about Peru with you documenting a cheaper way to travel and stay places while also swimming with the fish in their natural habitat. So one of the issues in Peru, I will say, is that a lot of my vaccines weren't like going to be fully effective until like the last couple days that I was there. So I was realistically, like my doctors and nurses and LPNs and MAs that were administering like my preventative stuff, is that they were going like, look, you're really going to be taking risks getting ailments if you're in that river on these dates. So I was realistically going, let me err on the side of caution here a little bit. And I also did get sick when I was down there. So, you know, like I really was trying to do things like as cautiously as possible when I was down there. It's a world-renowned area for getting all sorts of sicknesses, realistically. I mean, you know, it's just the truth. And so I really was trying to like kind of navigate in a pretty safe way as much as I could with the boys and everybody there. As far as like cheap accommodations, like you know, you can save money on airfare. You're not really going to save money on hotel by like downgrading the hotel. Cause I remember like one of the hotels we stayed at was like a nice hotel in Iquitos. But the difference was like $10 US a night from the crappy hotel to the nice hotel or something like that. Like it was just a nominal amount of money. Like just, you're like, what? How much is it to stay at the nice hotel? Like $10 more? Oh, yeah. Let's just stay at the nice hotel. Like being taxied around is like super cheap to the point where you're like, oh, we're going to go way over there. How much is that? Like, what is it? Soles? I think their money is soles, if I remember correctly. You'd be like, oh, it's 15 soles. That's $3 American, right? And that's like with a tip. So a lot of the air quote like luxurious things that we did, which was like take a van from here to over there, as opposed to taking the little rickshaws, whatever those are called. There's like a 3-wheel scooter. I forget what they're called because it's not honestly what I'm thinking about at the moment. But like, they have these little like open air 3-wheel motorcycle taxis that are running everywhere, and you could take those, or you could take a van. Like the van ride was like $20 to drive us around to like 3 different stores. So you're really like encountering these costs that's not really going to save you money. Obviously, the boat trek is a fair bit of money, but I don't personally know any ways to access the remote areas that we were going to without chartering a boat to go take you around, right? Because you need somebody that knows the waterways, you need to know somebody that knows where they're going, and you need to know somebody who has a boat, right? Because you're not going to take your own boat down there. So it's a matter of like finding a reputable company that's running a boat that you can go on. And, you know, there still is like a lot of things to deal with. Like you're down there, you're definitely eating a lot of food that is not necessarily suspicious or suspect or anything like that. But you're likely to get sick to the point where, you know, people are like, oh, do you feel a little bit funny? Just start taking a whole bunch of Imodium AD, right? Like just start taking a bunch of diarrhea medication and stuff, and then just figure out how to power through it. Like most everybody is just sort of existing for the period of time that you're there, because you're only there for a couple of weeks or whatever. So, you know, it's one of those things. Plus you're taking malaria medication every day. That's the prophylactic for malaria. You know, there's a lot of things that like go into it, but I don't think that there's necessarily a way for it to be really cheap, because the difference is probably going to be like, is it $3,800 or $3,600? That's going to be like the difference, right? And you know, like the 30, or like, would it be like 38 or 32, right? So it's the difference of like $600 to either be like on a really ghetto trip or on, oh wow, this is like pretty easy, but it's still going to be like pretty stressful on you, especially if you're from, like I bet if you went from Brazil over to Peru, not that big of a deal, right? But if you're going from North America to South America, it's a big difference. You know, the culture is interesting, but not really like any kind of. It's not prohibitive. It's not prohibitive. There we go. There's nothing like out of sorts that would freak you out or anything, but the environment's way different. Like the bacteria that you're exposed to every day is completely different. So, yeah. Aubrey says, I don't know what you have footage to support a video of you going to collect fish and learning something about a city with no roads to it, etc. I don't know, just your perspective on the world before and after. Okay. Yeah. I think that's that's pretty much where I've kind of been like focusing. But I don't know that I did a great job like filming for that stuff, because the trip was hosted by Aquarium Co-op. I basically was trying to film all of the stuff for Aquarium Co-op. So I was more focusing on getting the stuff, you know, for Corey, for Jimmy, for Dean, for everybody to like be able to have like as much footage of everything that was going on without missing stuff, because other collecting trips, like a lot of certain things have happened and they happened to be off camera, right? And so they definitely didn't want to miss that from this trip. They didn't want, you know, a lot of the things that were taken into like what we were supposed to film, what we weren't supposed to film, all that kind of stuff was more guided by what was needed for the Aquarium Co-op content. So I was trying to accommodate that as well as possible, to be able to film that content. And so like I have footage of other things that we went to film and everything, but a lot of it was kind of motivated and dictated by what was needed for that trip to be like good content for the Aquarium Co-op watchers. You know, I mean, there's like 800,000 of them. So it was like trying to fulfill that versus just whatever I found interesting. Now, admittedly, I would love to go on some trips and just focus on things that I find to be super interesting. And that's something that has certainly started to come up. I know that Wesley was asking me a little while ago. He was like, I don't even remember that you went to Netherlands. Like I went to the Netherlands. I went to Vivarium. I never, I made a video about Vivarium, but I was saving it, for it to be released, like coming up to the next Vivarium, but then the next one got canceled and the next one got canceled. And then it felt super weird to put out a Vivarium video when that was never going to happen. But if you go to my channel and you look at like, the Johan videos and some of the store videos that I did, on the local stores in the Netherlands, like that's in the vein of the content that I would like to make more of. And that really was a trip of like, I'm out there filming by myself. I'm with Johan, who was, by the way, like the best host you could ever imagine. Like that dude was so rad, just on a personal level, but like on the level of like hosting me coming to his country and like calling people ahead of time and stuff like that. Dude, so cool. And we got to go to the convention, and the convention was so much fun. It was so well put together. Like comparing it to United States convention, it hands down was a million times better. And I did, like I said, I made a Vivarium video, but I didn't want it to like come out as a, this is where I went. It was made in the like, this is where I went and I'm going back. And so it was like, I'm going to have to go back and re-edit that whole thing. So I just never bothered to put it out because it was like, I don't know, this is weird. But the Johan videos and like the Netherlands stores and stuff like that, that's some of the content that I, as an individual guy making videos and stuff, it's obviously a couple years old now, but that's pretty much like in the vein of stuff that I want to make. Get interviews with people, get better at interviewing people. It's incredibly difficult to interview people you've never met before. It is just so hard. It is so hard for them to who is this guy? You want to set up a camera? What, you want to waste an hour of my day or an hour and a half or 2 hours of your day? It's just insane. New Local Austin says Johan is the best. Clips of Johan being awesome. Yes. One of the best clips from the Netherlands trip that you guys have never seen. Johan and I are driving down the freeway, and I just happened to be filming like, hey, we're going over to go to Bavarian, blah, 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 blah. And a bird hit the windshield while we were driving on the freeway. It was completely insane. I've never had that happen directly to the front of a car ever, and it just happens to Johan and I while we're driving down the road, and I turn on the camera to be like, hey, we're going to Vivarium. Johan, what are you doing? Oh, no, blah, blah, blah. We're going to the fish tank show, blah, blah, blah. And a bird just blasts off the windshield. It was so crazy. And you guys have never seen that clip because it's supposed to be in that Vivarium video that I've never been able to put out because it just didn't make any sense, because I'd have to go back and re-edit the whole thing into a I went here and I would like to go back, but the pandemic has just screwed everything up. So it keeps getting canceled. But I really do hope to go this year. I hope to return to some of the places that I filmed before, because like I have outtake footage from those stores and stuff like that, and I can compare and contrast, and I can go back and talk to the people that I talked to before. Not that they know who I am or anything like that. I'm not that vain to think that like they obviously know who I am, but there are YouTubers that I met there that know who I am, that would love to go back and like do some collaborative projects with them. I want to go to Belgium because there's a couple YouTubers in Belgium that I really want to go down, visit, tour their fish rooms, see what's going on. Probably make some videos of us being ridiculous, idiot, dumb people, goofballs, whatever you want to call it. But should be great. But all this stuff is like a learning experience, and oftentimes like people are just here, like hearing about it, or they remembered watching a video. Aubrey says members only clip. Actually, that's a good point. I'm gonna go find that, and I'll probably put it up as a members only clip. You guys, People that are members, I only think I have one members only clip, but it's some of the outtakes from like Peru, from the Peru trip. Corey, Corey messing around anytime I turn on my camera. It's very hard to film with him, unless he knows it's like serious time, and then it's easy to film with him. But yeah. Snoochie Boochie says you see envious videos of the great parts of traveling, but you never see the negative side of like expense, house sitters, jet lag, lost luggage, diarrhea, language barrier, unexpected problems. Yeah. Yeah. See, here's the thing, like, going into a trip where you're traveling really far, it's very weird to be like in the zone of filming the negative things that are going on. And I got to be real honest about this. Excuse me, I got to catch my throat today. As always of late, I guess that's just my thing now. There, I'll cough farther from the mic. There. But yeah, like, as I mentioned earlier in the show, my sinuses and everything have been all dry, I think, from the just being dry. But like to go into a traveling project to be like, boy, howdy, I'm going to film all of the dumb stuff that happens, right? Is weird. It's a really weird thing to be in that zone, because like when you're traveling, you put all your camera gear that you don't essentially want to lose in your pack that you take with you, right? You don't want to put all that gear into your luggage because batteries you can't put into luggage, right? So anything like a cell phone, anything like what if I got anything here? Oh. If you got a camera battery, that can't go in your luggage. If you have a portable light, right? If you have a portable light, this can't go in your luggage because it has a lithium-ion battery in it. If you have any of that stuff, it cannot go into your luggage. It has to go into your carry-on. So you're going to carry a very heavy pack with you because it's going to have all your batteries in it. It's likely to have all of your camera lenses in it, because like that camera lens back there, look it up and see how expensive it is. Hold on, let's see how expensive it is right now. Just in case anybody wants to buy something through my Amazon affiliate link. What happened? Okay, we went like this, and then we went, all right, yeah, okay. 100 to 500, there we go. Yeah, there we go. If anybody wants to buy this lens through my Amazon affiliate link, that'd be cool. I'm not sure what the commission would be. It might be nothing, but it might be a couple of bucks. But to give you an idea, it's $27.99 before tax. This is like one of the biggest commitments I've made filming wise, is being able to have a large telephoto lens that I can take with me. That's where I got like pictures of the bald eagles and stuff like that I put up on Instagram. I've been pretty terrible about posting Instagram posts and that kind of stuff, but whatever. Instagram's stupid and I don't really like it. But this lens right here, I would not put this in my luggage. That might get lost, right? So you got to carry that in your carry-on. You got to carry whatever cameras you're going to take with you, because you don't want to put your cameras in a piece of luggage and have it get lost, right? So your carry-on is going to be super heavy. You're going to have to keep an eye on it at all times. You do not let that thing out of your sight. So everyone's carrying a heavy backpack. Everyone's carrying all this stuff that you have to carry with you. It's not like you just throw it in the back of something and just not worry about it. All of the GoPros, all of the GoPro batteries, all of that stuff cannot go into your luggage. It has to go into a carry-on. All of the microphones that I carry now all have built-in batteries, which means they have to go into a backpack. So you're always going to be carrying that with you, and everything is sort of packed in there perfectly, right? And while you're traveling, you gotta have your COVID test results. You gotta have your passport with you. You gotta have your import. You have to have your whatever the I forget what it's called. This you gotta have all this paperwork with you. So you have to have all that crap ready. So when you go up there, you have all this, you have all that. You're in airports. You don't really know what airport you're in now. Have you been to Houston before? Have you been to Dallas Fort Worth? Are you in Atlanta? Are you in LA? Are you in Colorado? Where are you? You're probably going to have a connecting flight. You got to pay attention to that. So you got to know what's going on. Then you get in an airplane for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 hours, however long it is. Then you're like confused. You're jet lagged. You're laid over. And then you go somewhere. Now all of a sudden you went from, it was 42 degrees in the U.S. to now it's 99 degrees and 100% humidity. And you're just like sweating. It's weird. You don't know where you are. You don't know what's going on. There's a guy over there. He's holding a sign with your name on it. But it's kind of suspicious because nobody recognizes that guy because it's not any of the guys that were supposed to meet you there. So you go through all this kind of stuff and you're just motivated to like keep going. It's weird that any YouTuber would be like, we stopped because we have a flat tire and we're filming it now. As opposed to changing the flat tire and getting back on the road. Obviously, a flat tire is not the greatest example because the vehicle stops. That's what's going on. And you potentially could get out your gear, get out your camera, and film one of the people changing the tire or something. You could do that. But more often than not, you're probably just stuck in a traffic jam or trying to figure out what's going on with this or what's going on with that and trying to move forward, trying to keep moving forward. And it's weird for somebody to be like, let me get out my vlog camera and I'm going to be vlogging on what's going on. And everybody else is like, hey, dude, we're trying to figure out how to get our passports cleared to be able to go to the next place that we're going to. And there's guys with rifles out here. Maybe don't have your camera out right now kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of that stuff, and you don't know where you are. You don't really know what time it is, and you're trying to figure out how to get where you're going. And a lot of it is that. And then you do get somewhere, and the last thing you want to do is like get out a camera and film you saying like how crappy the trip was, right? Or whatever, right? Like, oh my God, we got delayed, and oh my God, we did this, and oh my God, we did that. Yeah, so I don't know. But I've definitely kind of like changed my how-to on that type of stuff. And I'll see moving forward like how much better I am at filming that kind of travel stuff or whatever. Like I think one of the things that was kind of interesting and why like Casey Neistat was always so good at it is that he was constantly flying around like all the time. So regardless of whether or not he had for instance, like the time lapse of like driving to the freeway or sped up footage of an airplane taking off. Like he probably had 100 clips of that and had already filmed that so many times that he just didn't really need to film it anymore because you could realistically just plop that in anywhere and most people wouldn't question it, you know? So Aubrey says, yeah, I have the romantic idea of a jungle river cruise expedition to collect exotic species, but to see the reality of modern day experience would be a good video. I will say that like the trip that we went on was actually pretty convenient. You know, we had a cook on board who was cooking, helped like put together meals all the time. The guys that were helping out, like with the fishing and everything, like those dudes knew what was up. They knew what was going on. And they, in all honesty, were being compensated really well to do a thing that they like doing. And that is paramountly obvious. Like when it comes down to people that are being paid to do a thing that they like to do, and being paid well to do a thing that they like to do, it definitely shows in the enthusiasm and performance of those guys. And that was one of the things that I've been trying to script in like a cohesive way that doesn't make it sound like you know, I'm constantly criticizing the way that the rest of the world works or whatever or any of that, but you know, but yeah, it's like one of the things that like the running water on the boat is actually just river water that's pumped up directly from wherever the boat is parked, and it's like coming out of the tap. You know, so it's literally like you wash your hands, but you wash your hands with like dirty river water. So you're like trying your best to like be clean and wash your hands as much as possible, but the river water is literally filled with like crazy bacteria that is sort of the antithesis of what it is that you're trying to do, which is like wash your hands so you can be clean. And it's like one of the things that was interesting was when we were on the boat, like Randy kept taking showers. Like it was a joke that was on the boat that Randy would constantly be taking showers. But the thing is that like he was taking showers because he was in the river, but the shower he was taking was with river water. So it just seems so counterproductive, you know, where it's like, I got to take a shower because I got to wash off this river water, but it's like you're washing off the river water with river water. So, you know, it seemed so counterproductive, you know. And then it's like, well, hey, when you brush your teeth, remember not to brush your teeth with the tap water here. Always use bottled water. Then, yeah. Fishbrella Corporation says you don't have hand sanitizer. When you're in Peru on the river, you have a limited amount of stuff with you. You know, obviously we all brought a lot of stuff. I had hand sanitizer, but it's also like 100. It's also 100 degrees out. So if you brought hand sanitizer and it was in a completely closed up container, it likely popped open at some point because of temperature, pressure change, all that kind of stuff. So I actually had sanitizing wipes is what I brought with me. But there's like a limit to how much you could use those realistically. But those definitely helped out. It was like to the extent of my knowledge, that helped out. But you know, there's only so much hand sanitizer you can literally bring onto a boat to be out there doing your thing, you know. Anyhow, we're I don't know how far in are we? Oh my god, we're 2 hours in. It's almost 3:30. That means I gotta get back to work. And we don't have any super chats, I think, right? Was there none today? Okay. No super chats today, just super messages from members. Just member messages. Okay, legit. I think we got all of those, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I responded to all of those, so I feel like I'm making sure I respond to the members for sure. Let's close that. And then, was there anything that I missed today? Where are my notes at? One of the things that I have notes here, so let me open my notes, and it says right here, talk about this. One of the things that I really wanted to note was in the Peru trip itself, has to do with like a lot of the illegal logging and the deforestation and stuff that's going on down there. And I got to be honest with you guys, like talking with locals, the few locals that I got to talk to, which I'm going to be honest with you, they weren't loggers, they weren't forest management people, they weren't like protesting the logging or anything like that. So it wasn't people that were like tied in. But talking with some of the locals and some of the people that lived down there for a long time about those issues is that I think they are they are of far less importance than seems to be when we get like a news report on that stuff up here. And one of the big things that I found out while I was down there is that like areas that are deforested, actually replenish at a rate that is just completely astounding to me. Because like one of the spots that we went to with one of our guides, one of our hosts, whatever you want to call him, one of the experts that was down there was what happened to my chat? My chat went weird. Did I stop broadcasting? My chat went weird. Oh, no, now, okay. It's still working fine. We went to an area that had been clear cut for a local farm. And in that time frame that the guy that was with us had been there, he was like, this was clear cut less than 20 years ago because that was before when he had boated up and down there, right? So we knew that timeline. So he's like, it might have been 15 years, it might have been 12 years, it might have been 17 years or whatever, but he goes, I know it's less than this. You're like, okay. And in that time, they farmed that area for a certain amount of time, however long that was. Maybe it was 2 years, maybe it was a year, maybe it was whatever. But since then, the trees had grown back, and they were all like 60 feet tall in that total area that had been clear cut. And the reality of that whole situation, God, is that things wouldn't have grown the same way up here. Because it's summertime all the time there as far as light exposure goes, as far as temperature goes. They're near the equator, so they get 12 hours of sun every day, 12 hours a night every day, all year round. There's never a period of time where the trees lose all their leaves and they go through the seeding process, and then they go dormant for a certain amount of time, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months out of the year, and then grow. They're just in the growing season all the time. And I did like the worst job filming this, but I do have some of the evidence of that from the fact that like certain parts of the tree had grown, the leaves had turned brown and dying, but all the other parts were still green and growing. It's just like the tree is just in a nonstop growing and dying phase. Grow all the way out. These leaves get old, they die off, new ones shoot out, and it's like they don't even go through the seasons like they do here. So it was stuff like that where you're just like, well, how do I document this in a way that doesn't make me seem like I'm trying to be non-environmentalist or whatever, when I would consider myself to be an environmentally minded person, and that I try to put my money where my mouth is there and donate to what I think is good causes and stuff like that. But the interpretation might be completely different from the people that live there versus the people that are up here, 10,000 miles away, not really knowing what's going on. So things might be a lot different than I think or whatnot, but yeah. All right, 3:30, I got to go. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Appreciate your support. Hopefully we get some more patrons and members. Yeah.